Hello, hello, hello everyone. This is Kathy and I'm here with number 89 of the 100-day challenge. And today I'll be making this cute little journal, or actually a folio for my journal. And here's what it is. Opens this way, and I have a pocket here. I have 3 pockets here. That opens up. In the center, I have some accordion folds that you can write on, keep notes on. 4 of those with a little flap to hold it closed. And here I have a little tuck, and then here this opens and there's some places to jot some notes. And that's it. So stick around if you're interested. I hope you do. And let's get started. Excuse me. First of all, I'll start with the base. You're going to need 1 piece of cardstock, 9 by 7.5 inches. And I'm going to use black, and you're going to score it at 3 and 6 inches on the 9-inch side. So let's do that. Whoop. And 3. And that's going to fold. And that's going to fold. Now, I forgot to show you what you needed. Obviously a score board if you choose, a 1-inch circle punch, an eyelet setter and some eyelets, some string or ribbon, glue, and scissors and a cutter. So we'll keep going. Next, I'm going to cut panels. I've already cut them for the front, 2 7/8 by 6 3/4. Again, it could be cardstock. It doesn't have to be. 2 7/8 by 6 3/4. So we're going to glue those on. This. That is a little thick for me, so I'm going to give it a cut, a snip. So instead of 2 7/8, this probably should be 2 3/4, but I want the black showing all around. And I don't know if I want, yeah. Whoops. We need one there. We need one here. That will also serve as a pocket. So again, I'm going to trim it just a smidge. And add a notch. Add some ink. The paper I'm using is Stamperia Time. And that's going to go right there. I think I'm going to use this side. And again, try to center it. Now on this side, I've cut a piece that is 5.5 by 6 3/4. I'm going to take that, I'm going to fold it in half. And I'm actually going to round the corners on this one, this particular one. And that's going to go right over here. Now I could have it a double pocket, but I'm not going to do that. You know, I could glue it down and just glue this sides and have a pocket that way, but I'm gonna glue the whole thing down. Just like that. Okay. Now on this side, on the back, I'm going to place a few pockets, and let's see what sides I want to use. I guess I'll use those. I'm going to cut a notch in there. Oh, and I forgot, these pockets are 2 3/4 by 2 inches, and you need 3 of them. And I'll go over the measurements again to make sure you've got them. Glue down the sides and the bottom. These little folders for your journals are really easy to make, and they always add interest to your journals. You can make them as complicated or as simple as you want. Like, you don't have to add pockets to the back and such. Now in the center, I'm going to add some accordion little diddlies. So I've cut 3 pieces that are 1 1/8 by 8. I don't think this is 1 1/8. For some reason I have my measurements off. This is actually 1 1/2 by 8. And then what I'm going to do is simply fold it like this. Making sure it's going to fit. So I made 4 of those. I find it easier just to fold these and rather than score them necessarily. But if you were scoring them, you would score at 2 7/8 and 5 3/4. I'm going to do the other ones together. And actually, for any of these that I have the base on, that I'm using the black and the green, you could just use cardstock and then you wouldn't have to cut the panels that go on the top. I just like the way it looks, so I do it like that. And I glue these down so that the opening is on the right. So I'm gluing them down like this. So it may be that I have to play with it. Make sure they all fit. And I'm gonna glue those on, and I put glue all along the back. And I wanna make sure that I'm not going over the fold line. I love to include little accordion thingies in my journals. Okay. Whoops, that's a little crooked. Now I've cut some little things to go on the panels to make it look pretty. So I'm going to put those, and those measure 1.5 by 2.5. Oh. These are a little too big. And they're too big because I didn't score it the same, you know, I just folded it. That's why they're kind of turning out differently. If you scored at the 2 7/8 and 5 3/4, 2 7/8, yeah, and 5 3/4, you'll do better. And now I've cut 2 of the flaps that are going to be the closures for these. And these are 3 by 2 3/4. 3 by 2 3/4. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to score these right at the top. On the 3-inch side, and I'm going to score that at, let's see, like a 1/2 inch. 3-inch side scored at a 1/2 inch. Okay. Next, I'm going to fold those over, just like that. And I'm just going to clip the edge there. Okay. I'm going to put glue. Whoops, before I do anything, I want to cut the top like a tag. So I fold it without creasing it and cut it. Now I'm going to add glue to this side, to the little hinge. Put that right on the top, making sure it doesn't go over the fold line. And this actually is a smidge too big. So I'm gonna cut off a smidge. And I'll cut off a smidge here. Glue it. Put it on the bottom. Just like that. This is going to go like that. So now I want to put a hole in here. And a hole in here. I want to get some string. It's the only thing I forgot. I have some, I need 2 pieces. And this is probably about a little over 12 inches, let's see. Just about 12 inches. I'm going to take my eyelet. Before I put my eyelet in, I'm going to put my string in. So I run my string like that. I know it's hard to see with this paper. And I want the string facing in the direction that I'm going to tie it. So like that. Add the eyelet right over the string. The eyelet is what is holding the string in place. And then I give it a chomp. Just like that. Clip the back. Do the same thing to the top. Add the string in first before the eyelet. Hold it in the direction that I want the item to be tied, which is at the bottom. Add the eyelet, which holds the string in place, and then give it a chomp. And those of you who are new to crafting, don't be afraid to use the eyelet punch. They're hard at first. You'll make some mistakes, but then they're not difficult at all. It started working for me when I stopped trying to be hyper focused and just did it, you know, when I didn't worry so much. Okay. but there's still some things that I want to do to this. And let me show you, because you might not want to do it. Let me show you what I did to this one. I cut pieces of paper, 4 on each. So that's 20 pieces, 16 pieces you need to cover this. So depending on how big you make this, mine were 1.5 by 2.5 inches. 1.5 by 2.5. So I'm not going to take up your time now to show you how to cut that, because you know how to cut 1.5 by 2.5. But just know that's what I did. Okay. And then, so I'm going to close this back up. And on this one, what I did is I made a little notepad. So I will do that really quickly. I always keep some of these made up. So I'm going to take, a few sheets. I'm going to cut it down. Okay. So I'm going to cut this off. And then I'm going to cut it this way. And this is going to go right in here. Let me straighten it up. Would have been better if I used my paper trimmer. And then I just take a little piece of scrap paper, if I have it. Let's see. A little piece of scrap left over. Some of this stuff out of the way, and I'm going to fold this in half, put it on the top, trim it if needed, and then I'm just going to staple it to the top. And this stapler is great. I got it at Amazon Basics. It was $8.19. And then I'm just going to glue the back, or the top actually. Make sure it's inside the fold. Like that. And let's see what we can do. I have a little piece left. Let's see. Well, I think we can just make a little corner tuck. around the corner. And put it right down here. Add a little bit of ink. And add that. Have an easy tuck spot. Whoops. That's going to close like that. That's going to close like that. And we still have one panel left to put on the back. And before we do that, for some reason my measurements were off a bit. I'm going to add string to tie the whole thing together. I center it in the back. And and this needs to be gone over with a good bone folder, which I didn't do. That's better. And that's the basics for this cute little folder for your journals. Of course it needs to be decorated, but I think you get the gist. Here's, whoops, I'm sorry. Here's my other one that's decorated. You can use ribbon or cord like this, either one. And that's it. So I hope you try them. This has to be broken in, put under a heavy book. But I hope you try making them, and I want to thank you so much for joining me as always for number 89 of the 100-Day Challenge. Only 11 more to go. You all have a great one. Bye.